All right, everybody, here we are, day 17. Day 17 of 22 days talking about veteran suicide. As you can see, a little bit different setting today. We are at Impact Pro Wrestling's Vault Training Center. And I wanted to bring you here today, do things a little different, share some special things, and kind of give us a different perspective. Because sometimes perspective makes all the difference in the world. You know, sometimes things aren't what we think they are. We build up in our head the way things we think they are. Someone has told us these things and we believe it. For example, this is a professional wrestling ring. Things that people who aren't wrestlers tend to think because they've either been told, they see it on TV, or just whatever reason they have for building up these ideas. You know, these are rope. It's not a giant rubber band. Is there a little flex to it? Sure. But that's just because it's rope. But look, it's not a spring, it's not a rubber band. Hitting them can hurt a little bit. When I first started training, many, many moons ago, we actually used steel cable inside of a hose. Hurt even more. So again, not what most people expect them to be. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look over here. So I'll make one thing abundantly clear. Not a trampoline. We're going to pull back the curtain, as we say. Got a little bit of canvas, some wrestling mat, 2x8s, steel. Again, not a trampoline. It's harder than you think it is. Speaking of things that are harder than we think it is, let's talk a little bit about mental health, PTSD, suicidal thoughts. We see somebody walking down the street, particularly say a veteran. We think they're strong, we think they're durable, we think they've been trained to be able to handle all the rigors and stresses of combat. So we think in our head, oh, that person's okay. Or maybe it's somebody who's really good at covering up their emotional scars, their psychological scars. So on the surface, we see somebody who's okay, somebody who doesn't need help, somebody who's got it all together. What we don't know is the truth behind the curtain. What we don't know is what's really going on, because we've built up in our head this false reality of what we think we see. Deep down, this person is struggling. Deep down, this person has trouble sleeping at night. They see horrors every time they close their eyes. They panic every time somebody steps on bubble wrap. They feel ashamed that they can't take their family to fireworks on the 4th of July. That's the reality behind the illusion that we build up for ourselves, because it's easier to look at it that way. And it's not intentional, it's not out of malice, it's not out of a desire to not help people. They probably put that forth so that they don't feel like they're a burden on people, so they don't feel like they're weak, and they don't feel like they're broken. But the reality is, the strongest person you know struggles. So what we need to do is look past the fake reality, look past the illusion, look past what we've been told is the case, and dig to the reality of the situation. And that's what we're trying to do here. 22 days of trying to talk about this topic of veteran suicide, because there are so many people who built up in their head what that means. That, oh, well, I'll know if my friend is struggling. They'll tell me, or it'll be obvious. It's not going to be obvious. They're going to have their guard up. They're going to present themselves in a way that you won't see it coming. So again, just like this ring, what you see and what you think doesn't necessarily match the reality of what's going on in their life. Now, why else are we here today? Because how do we get past that? Particularly for people who are struggling. Another false reality we build for ourselves, particularly as veterans, is I am never gonna find people who understand me like my brothers and sisters who served. I'm never gonna find the kind of camaraderie and closeness and brotherhood, sisterhood I had in the military. I can tell you that is false. When I came home, I took my deployment money and instantly slapped it down right in front of the guy who trained me to be a professional wrestler because I knew that's what I wanted to do. And the amazing part about that was, not only have I spent the last 14 years doing something I love, something that has grown beyond a hobby, beyond an interest, this is something that defines who I am. I grew to develop a new family, a new brotherhood, a new sisterhood with an entirely different group of people who have an entirely different dynamic and culture than the military. And I tell them all the time, the professional wrestling world for me is the closest I have found to being in the military as far as the trust, the camaraderie, and just the connection you feel with the other people who do this, because you're making the same sacrifices physically, time away from your family, you're putting your safety in each other's hands, all things that are real similar to the military, and then just the feeling of love you get in return from these people. Now, does that necessarily mean pro wrestling's for everybody else? No. But what's amazing to me is I took that illusion of I'm never gonna find what I had in the military, threw that sumbitch away, and I found something that hit that same kind of need in my heart, and now I have that same connection with an entirely different group of people. It's not the same, it is different, but it still hits a lot of those same emotional, psychological needs that we have as people as far as having that kind of connection, and fills in some of those spots that we have become almost dependent on in the military. That closeness, that brotherhood, that ability to innately trust this person because you know what they know, you know what they're willing to give for you. That's what we need to find. Rather than say, I'm never going to find this, open yourself to new experiences. Open yourself to new people. Tear down that wall that we build up, because when you do, you're going to find your next thing. And that's just it. It's not just the connection, it's finding that distraction, finding that thing that can push at least some of that negativity out of your head. When I'm down, when I'm stressed, when I'm freaking out, when I'm really in the darkest places of my mind, this has saved my life more times than I care to count. Because I absolutely love professional wrestling. I don't feel more at home anywhere in the world than inside this ring. And that's the truth. That's not me being the pro wrestler giving you the, hey brother, I'm going to see you this Saturday. That's really me. That's Justin Lehue saying, hey, this makes me who I am. A lot of us define ourselves by our military service, and when that comes to an end, we don't know who we are. Rather than quit on yourselves, find that next something. Find your next chapter. Redefine yourself with something else. That will save your life. So open yourself up to new people. Open yourself to new experiences. Don't allow the military life, which was fantastic. I am proud of everybody who has ever served, and I'm proud of my service. But if that's the only way we define ourselves, we lock ourselves in a very dangerous box. Open that box. Open yourself to new stuff. Open yourself to new experiences. That's how we save the day. Now, I'm blown away. You folks have been amazing. Here we are, day 17, and with our mystery sponsor, matching dollar for dollar since day 11, we're hitting the $3,000 mark. I mean, again, for a guy who was trying to auction off a painting and hoping for 50 bucks, my mind has been blown away. But we got a few more days. I don't want to stop yet. Let's keep it going. We still got another 500 bucks plus we can get out of this mystery fella. Let's get it. Let's get every dime he's got. Let's make him think, man, maybe I should have lowered the number. Don't give him that chance. Let's get that money now. All right? And if you can't give money, again, as I've said time and time again, reach out to your friends, talk to somebody, be an ear to listen, be a shoulder to cry on. And don't let them tell you they don't need an ear to listen. Don't let them tell you they don't need a shoulder to cry on, because that is bullshit. Been there, done that, said that, and I needed it. And it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, just doing these videos have made a big difference for me because I'm talking about things, because I'm opening up to you, every one of you who are watching these, which has allowed me to actually open up to my own family about my feelings and has made a big difference. So, all right. Wrestling ring. Why not knock out some push-ups inside this thing? Keep it nice and simple today, just because I'm going to let the setting be the difference for today. 22. Why? One for every veteran who takes their life every day. Don't forget that. Don't allow this number to just be a number. It has a deep, deep meaning. That's one every hour. We can do better than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 every day. Be the difference.